But the fact that we are Africans doesn't mean that there are no bad things that are going on within Africa. It doesn't mean that we don't have like crime within the country. Well, the perspectives could be, the rate crimes would be different. You know, like all countries in the world have prisons. If everyone was like good, then we wouldn't be having prisons. That's at least on the minimum. I was in Zambia for 5 years, and the funny thing about Zambians is that they always say what you want to hear. I'm at a point in life, if you understand me or not. If you understand me or not me, I'm okay. That's not the point. I'm in a place that if you ask me what do I think about Black Americans, I could give you like a whole essay. Well, of course, this is because I'm married to one, but and therefore I have a well of information, like in terms of, do even Black Americans consider themselves Black Americans? Do them even call themselves Black? Do they call themselves African Americans? There's like a whole lot of discussion that I've come to learn. Before, my idea of Black Americans, I just thought they're these cool people that and I associated them as us. If you come to, like, for example, my country, sometimes they will refer Americans as Wazungu, which Wazungu could mean white people. Therefore, it fascinates me every time I get a chance to hear what other Africans have to think about Black Americans. And welcome to this channel. It's called Desta React. We try to unite. We do our best here to unite Black Americans, Africans, as well as the Caribbeans, just like the Black community, to have a place where we can interact on matters that are concerning us. So if you're interested in that kind of content and in that community, please subscribe to this channel. Today we are going to a guy in Zambia in Africa, as he's sharing with us what Africans really think about Black Americans. Let's do this.
What do Zambians think about Black Americans?
You know, one funny thing, Zambians, I think we look at Black Americans like they are like us. They are like our brothers.
I'm in agreement. We look at them as they are like us. And how I know this is a fact, when I'm working with my husband, even people tell me, like, for example, here in Africa, because we've been to several African countries together, he is considered an African. Like, you cannot see the difference. Definitely we look the same and the like, you know. So I would agree with you.
Like our brothers and sisters, we don't look at them to be strange. If anything, the white man will look them to be strange. Even Indians, you know that Indians are closer to us more than the Muzungu, more than the white.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, that's a whole we will come back to talk about the Indians. Let's first of all stick to the Black Americans for now.
More than the whites. But the blacks, everyone except they will just tell by the accent. You know, we have different cultures, but there's a motto which they say in Zambia that we are one Zambia, one nation. So anyone who looks black to us is our brother.
I feel like I'm in agreement with this, but of course on the internet streets, so many conversations continue going in terms of Black Americans are not loved by Africans, they are looked down upon or stuff like this. There's a whole long discussion that we could have about that, but I'm in agreement with the idea of us seeing Black Americans as our brothers and sisters. And I feel like if anyone doesn't view them as so, should be able to be just do a little education and you'll be able to understand. Yeah. And the thing is, are you, first of all, tell me in the comment section down below, are you in agreement that they are our brothers and sisters? Are you in agreement, or do you feel like they are different from us? Because another very unfortunate thing on me knowing about Black Americans and why they come to Africa with the excitement of coming back to the motherland and the like, but they end up going back to the States, at least for a good number of them that I've seen, because unfortunately also Africans stop seeing now as brothers and sisters and see as a way to let's exploit the situation, be it by take advantage of them, by scam. And I'm not saying this is always the case, but let's just be real for a moment, you know. But there are those that come and succeed, and you get into spaces and get into industries and, you know, create like this beautiful life here in Africa, which for sure I would recommend that every Black American come to visit Africa at least once in their life. And for me, the main purpose is how I have seen it having such a different perspective, especially for those that have visited the sub-Saharan Africa, to be specific, and you come to a place that you see people and they look like you, it challenges how you think, it challenges how you perceive the world. It gives you a moment to just live life without the fear of, I'm gonna be discriminated here because of my color. Live life without the concern of what's gonna happen. But of course, there's many other things that will come up. For example, if you have an accent, if you go to a country that has language barrier, or they don't speak in English, stuff like this. But I would highly recommend that Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, should definitely be on your bucket list. And I'm also not eliminating the northern part of Africa, because also there we do have some very deep history about us as a people. Anyway.
And who looks black to us is our brother.
That's it. We are brothers. Sisters,
and we know we are just separated by circumstances centuries ago, but we don't find anything wrong. That's why that's one of the things about Zambia, which is the hospitality.
So I don't want to live in a bubble. So educate me. Have you come to Africa? Have you interacted with Africans in Africa? And what do you have to say about that experience? Or are you an African? Have you interacted with Black Americans or African Americans, or like Americans that are in America that are of our color? Have you interacted with them, and how was it? What would you say about that interaction? Did you feel brother and sister kind of perspective? And I'm interested in going to the comment section and hearing what people have to say, because it can get interesting. Let him live in Chicago for 2 weeks, then interview him. Tell me what happens in Chicago. And people are following up to this and agreeing. And someone says, I lived in Chicago for 7 years and think nothing ill of Black people. What do you speak of? Did you live in Chicago? Oh, I think I kind of have an idea on what is the perspective of what is happening in Chicago. And someone says, undeniable truth shouldn't stop you from understanding that people ain't statistics. No Black person I know has committed any serious crimes despite what the stats say. The point you're missing is that you can acknowledge reality while also acknowledging that you shouldn't generalize people you don't know and have never met. Now, the thing is, weird people keep saying this. I live in Chicago, South and West. Most of the people saying this don't even live here. Weird AF. So, maybe because the perspective of, do you still want to associate yourself with these people as brothers and sisters? Okay, let's put it this way. But the fact that we are Africans doesn't mean that there are no bad things that are going on within Africa. It doesn't mean that we don't have like crime within the country. Well, the perspectives could be, the rate crimes would be different. Like all countries in the world have prisons. If everyone was like good, then we wouldn't be having prisons. That's at least on the minimum. Anyway, the thing is, I feel like despite the fact that there could be crimes or stuff like this, doesn't mean that then you're not brothers and sisters. Tell me about in your house, there could be someone that is in your family, but people sometimes call them black sheep, but still is your brother and sister regardless. So I don't think this perspective should change just because you've gone and seen them. I was in Zambia for 5 years, and the funny thing about Zambians is that they always say what you want to hear. Okay. So I don't know if this is because of colonization, I don't know, but I find a degree of quote-unquote people pleasing in Africa, especially to foreigners. You can correct me if you think I am wrong on this perspective, but a good percentage, I would say I agree. Okay, someone proceeds and says, true, that guy on Victoria Falls Bridge could even change his name depending on the country the people he was talking to came from. You gotta do what you have to do. Okay, many people agree to that. Put them in a New York City subway for a minute and ask the same question again. The thing is, it doesn't stop them from being brothers and sisters. And I'm not saying this to be kind or not kind. I'm just saying, even if I am the biggest, most nonchalant human being ever, like I'm deciding let's continue killing people or do whatever, it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna be a sister to my siblings, right? So same concept. Anyway, but to those that are disagreeing with this statement, what do you want this guy to say? What do you want them to be like? Black Americans are our biggest enemies. That's not true. That absolutely is not true. So there's no other. We can only be in the acceptance that you guys are our brothers and sisters, just in a different continent because of different circumstances, as he said. And that's about it. It was nice hearing other people's perspective about Black Americans, and I had fun reacting on this one, and I will see you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed, and I cannot wait to read your comments. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. Subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.